Welcome to Compasscope. Our research platform covers over 1,100 public companies. Each week, we share one of our active research files here in dialogue format.
Imagine dropping the threshold for free shipping to just under $4 in a massive, sprawling country like Brazil.
Right. I mean, mathematically, it sounds like corporate suicide.
Totally. The shipping costs alone should just completely bankrupt you. Because, you ship more items, you burn more gas, you pay more drivers.
Exactly.
But for Latin America's biggest company, making shipping virtually free for millions of these really cheap items didn't bankrupt them at all.
No, not even close.
It actually caused their shipping cost per item to drop by 17%.
Which completely defies traditional retail logic, honestly. But it perfectly illustrates the sheer mechanical leverage this company has built.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We're looking at a company that is essentially redefining how an entire continent shops, ships, and banks.
Yeah, and to figure out how they are pulling off impossibilities like that shipping metric, we have two really incredibly revealing sources on the table today.
We've got a comprehensive new research report from Compasscope alongside the actual Q1 2026 earnings call transcript from MercadoLibre.
Right, stock symbol MELI.
Yes, ELI. And the mission for us today is to unpack the fascinating evolution of MercadoLibre and really, understand the mechanics behind its unapologetic, very aggressive investment strategy.
Because if you're tracking this company, we really want to give you a clear view of how this giant operates under the hood.
Right. What it's risking by pushing the pedal to the floor and whether these massive bets are actually paying off. So to start, I think we need to define what this company actually is.
Oh, for sure.
Because calling MercadoLibre just an e-commerce site feels like, calling a smartphone just a calculator.
Yeah, that's the understatement of the century.
Right.
I mean, the Compasscope report breaks down their core ecosystem, and it outlines this multi-vertical digital behemoth. You have the commerce side, which covers everything from, consumer to consumer sales to first-party retail and cross-border trade.
But viewing them as just a storefront completely misses the actual infrastructure they built underneath it.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's unpack this with an analogy because I think that helps. Imagine if Amazon, FedEx, PayPal, and like a major national bank all had a baby in Latin America.
That is a terrifying and very accurate baby.
Right. That baby is MercadoLibre. So let's look at the FedEx limb of that baby first. This is Mercado Envios.
Right. So that is their logistics powerhouse. And we have to remember, building a logistics network in Latin America is notoriously difficult.
Oh, yeah.
You are dealing with massive geographical hurdles, really inconsistent infrastructure, and fragmented local carriers.
So how do they solve that?
Well, Mercado Envios handles the entire journey. They do the warehousing, the inventory management, and the first, middle, and last mile delivery.
Wow.
Yeah, they're successfully executing same-day and next-day delivery across key markets. But honestly, the most brilliant mechanism here might actually be their slow shipping network.
Wait, slow shipping?
Yep.
I mean, in an era where every global retailer is obsessing over getting things to my door in 2 hours, why build a slow network?
Well, it really comes down to utilizing idle capacity. So say a delivery truck is scheduled to move between two hubs, right?
Okay.
But the high priority next day packages only fill, say, 70% of that trip.
Right. But the truck is making the drive regardless.
Exactly. The truck is going anyway. So MercadoLibre offers a lower cost, slower shipping option to consumers for non-urgent items. And they use those slow shipping boxes to pack the remaining 30% of the truck.
Oh, wow. So because the truck was already scheduled to make the trip, the marginal cost of moving those extra boxes is almost zero.
Exactly. It's brilliant.
That is incredibly efficient. So they are essentially getting paid to move boxes on a trip they were already taking anyway.
Precisely.
All right, so that covers the commerce and logistics side. What about the PayPal and the bank part of the analogy?
Okay, so that brings us to Mercado Pago. To understand Pago, you really have to understand the historical context of Latin America.
Right, where a massive percentage of the population has been traditionally unbanked.
Exactly. Traditional incumbent banks there often required high minimum balances, and they charged these exorbitant fees, which effectively locked out millions of people.
Right.
So Mercado Pago started simply as a digital checkout tool for the marketplace, just a way to facilitate a transaction.
But now it's basically a full-blown financial institution.
Oh, yeah. It is a comprehensive digital wallet. You can use it for in-store QR payments at your local grocery store. They offer investment accounts, savings products, and a massive suite of credit products.
We are talking personal loans, merchant loans, and millions of credit cards.
Millions of them. Yeah.
And tying all of this together, both the commerce and the fintech sides, is their advertising network.
Right.
Because they're using AI and data analytics to optimize ad targeting. I mean, if you have millions of eyeballs looking for products and you have the data on what they want, you just sell the ad space to the merchants trying to reach them.
And that ad network is highly lucrative because the margins on digital ads are just spectacular compared to, moving physical boxes.
Yeah.
They own the search bar, so they capture the intent of the buyer the exact moment they start looking.
Okay, so this brings up a pretty glaring strategic question.
Yeah.
If MercadoLibre is operating a massive logistics firm, a massive retail operation, and a massive digital bank all at the exact same time, who are they actually fighting?
That is the big question.
Are they seriously going to war with global e-commerce giants like Amazon and Shopee on the logistics front, while simultaneously fighting specialized digital banks like Nubank on the credit front?
Well, the conventional wisdom says you cannot fight a multi-front war against specialized giants and actually win.
Right.
But the Compasscope report details how MercadoLibre has engineered a highly defensible moat by turning those different business lines into a single self-reinforcing flywheel.
Okay, break that down for me.
Sure. So the first layer of that moat is pure network effects. They have an installed base of over 120 million active buyers and over 1 million active sellers.
Right, the classic marketplace dynamic. More buyers attract more sellers mean better prices and selection, which inevitably attracts even more buyers.
Exactly. But the moat gets exponentially deeper when you look at switching costs.
Okay.
MercadoLibre's fulfillment penetration is sitting at over 50%.
Wow, 50%.
Yeah. That means they physically hold the inventory and handle the shipping for more than half of everything sold on the platform.
So a merchant using that service isn't just listing a product on a website. They've handed the physical keys to their business over to MercadoLibre.
Precisely.
If that merchant gets mad and decides to leave for, say, Amazon or Shopee, they don't just lose their digital storefront. They have to physically move their inventory, rebuild their warehousing, and, negotiate new shipping contracts from scratch.
Right. Leaving would effectively ruin their business for months. So it creates this incredibly sticky ecosystem. But their ultimate weapon against specialized competitors is actually the data advantage.
The data advantage.
Yeah. Think about the limitations of their rivals. A specialized digital bank like Nubank, well, they only see your financial transactions.
Right.
Amazon only sees your commerce data. But MercadoLibre sees both simultaneously.
They know what you buy, and they know exactly how you finance it.
And that multidimensional data set changes the game for lending. I mean, imagine a consumer in Brazil who has never had a formal bank account or a credit score.
Oh.
A traditional bank would reject them for a loan instantly because they basically look like a ghost on paper.
Yeah, they have no history.
Exactly. But MercadoLibre can look at that exact same person and see they've been reliably buying and selling sneakers on the platform every month for 3 years. And they always pay their marketplace invoices on time.
Oh, wow. So they can safely underwrite a loan for someone the rest of the financial system considers totally untouchable.
Exactly. That proprietary data allows them to price risk far better than traditional banks, and the consumers reward them for this access. According to the report, MercadoLibre's net promoter scores, the NPS metric that measures customer satisfaction, are sitting a massive 30 points higher than the incumbent Latin American banks.
A 30-point lead isn't just a competitive advantage. I mean, that means your customers actively love you while they actively resent your competitors.
Totally.
Okay, so we know what they are and why their moat is so deep. Let's look at how management approaches growth.
Yeah.
Because the sources mention they view this as a quote-unquote once-in-a-generation opportunity.
Yeah, and to capture that opportunity, they are running a dual-engine strategy.
Right.
They are aggressively pushing both the commerce and the fintech engines to their absolute limits. So on commerce, the goal is pushing gross merchandise volume, or GMV, while expanding that high-margin ad network.
And to drive that volume, they are doing things like aggressively lowering the free shipping threshold in Brazil down to just 19 reais, which is only a few US dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, you buy a tube of toothpaste and a pack of socks and they'll ship it for free. But subsidizing that shipping has to cost them an absolute fortune up front.
Oh, it requires immense capital. And simultaneously on the fintech side, they are scaling credit card issuance at lightning speed.
Yeah.
And they're aggressively pushing off platform usage. They want you using Mercado Pago to pay for your coffee down the street, not just for buying things on their website.
Right, they want to be your primary, everyday digital bank.
Exactly.
But usually, if a company is already dominating a market and generating massive cash flow, investors start knocking on the door asking for their cut.
Yeah.
They want dividends.
Oh, sure.
So how is MercadoLibre getting away with keeping all this cash and just burning it on free shipping and credit expansion?
Well, the investors are allowing it because management has proven they can generate massive returns on retained earnings.
Okay.
Instead of paying out dividends, MercadoLibre is deliberately sacrificing short-term operating margins to capture long-term scale. They are taking the profits from the mature parts of the business and relentlessly reinvesting them into market share.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Management isn't sweating the short-term profit hit because they understand the lifetime value of a customer.
Right.
It's like throwing a massive expensive party and deciding to pay for everyone's cab fare to get there.
I love that analogy.
Yeah, it costs you an absolute fortune up front, but suddenly thousands of people are at your house, they're having a great time, and they never want to leave.
Exactly. They are buying the habit because once the consumer forms the habit of using MercadoLibre for every purchase and Mercado Pago for every single payment, the long-term cash flow from that user completely dwarfs the initial cost of the cab fare.
Right, but logically, there is a dark side to this.
Always.
If you're growing this fast, spending this much, and fighting a multi-front war, what could go wrong?
Let's talk about execution risk.
Yeah.
Because managing this level of complexity sounds exhausting.
It really is. The Compasscope report highlights the sheer operational terror of their model.
Scaling a massive logistics network, a massive retail operation, and a massive digital bank simultaneously would be incredibly hard anywhere.
Right.
But doing it across multiple Latin American countries, which are historically prone to severe macroeconomic volatility, high inflation, and sudden currency devaluations, that multiplies the difficulty exponentially.
Yeah, just managing the cross-border tax compliance and currency hedging gives me a headache just thinking about it.
Totally.
But looking at the sources, the specific risk that jumped out at me is in the Fintech arm. They are aggressively expanding the credit box.
They are. Their credit portfolio nearly doubled year over year to $14.6 billion.
Wow.
Yeah. And they are issuing millions of new credit cards. And in Brazil specifically, they are extending the average duration of personal loans from 5 months to 8 months.
Okay.
While deliberately reaching into riskier, previously unbanked borrower segments.
Wait, I have to push back on this strategy for a second.
Go for it.
So what does this actually mean? They are extending longer loan terms to riskier cohorts right in the middle of a volatile macroeconomic environment where inflation could spike at any moment.
Yes.
That sounds like the exact recipe for a massive catastrophic hangover if the economy takes a bad turn.
Your instinct is entirely valid, and it is the biggest systemic risk on the board right now.
Okay.
And the mechanics of banking regulations actually make this even trickier for their short-term financial optics.
How so?
Well, when a financial institution issues a new loan or a new credit card to a riskier cohort, accounting rules require them to front-load the provisioning for potential losses.
Meaning they have to assume a certain percentage of those people won't pay them back, and they have to take that financial hit immediately.
Exactly. The very day the loan is issued, before they have collected a single cent of interest revenue, they have to record an expense for potential bad debt.
Wow.
And because they are growing that $14.6 billion credit book so incredibly fast, they are constantly taking these massive upfront provision hits, which heavily depresses their current profit margins.
So this makes flawless AI underwriting absolutely crucial.
Oh, completely.
Because if their proprietary data models are even slightly too optimistic about how these riskier borrowers will behave over an 8-month term, those upfront provisions aren't just accounting artifacts.
Right.
They will turn into actual unrecoverable cash losses.
Exactly. The entire strategy hinges on their algorithms being smarter than the broader economy.
Okay, so we have the master plan and we have the doomsday scenario. Let's bring this to the immediate present. We have the actual Q1 2026 earnings call receipts.
Yes, we do.
I'm looking at these margin hits from the shipping subsidies and the aggressive credit provisioning, and my instinct is that their Q1 profit numbers must have taken a massive beating. Is this high wire act actually working?
Well, the top line numbers are staggering. Net revenue was up 49% year over year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that is their strongest growth rate since the pandemic boom in Q2 of 2022.
49% growth on a base that is already moving billions of dollars is just Wild.
It is. And Brazil in particular is absolutely on fire. Gross merchandise volume in Brazil was up 38%, and the total number of items sold surged by a whopping 56%.
Unbelievable.
And this massive spike directly tracks back to management's decision to drop that free shipping threshold to 19 reais.
Right, so the party strategy is working, the cabs are arriving.
Yes.
But what about the cost of subsidizing all that shipping? We talked about the anomaly earlier. How did the cost per unit actually drop 17% if volume exploded? Mathematically, that just shouldn't work.
Well, it comes down to a logistical mechanism called route density.
Okay.
If a delivery driver is dispatched to drop off one single package on a residential street, the company absorbs the full cost of that driver's time, the gas, and the vehicle wear and tear for that specific delivery.
Right.
But because the lower shipping threshold encouraged everyone in that neighborhood to order cheap everyday items, that same driver is now dropping off 5 or 6 packages on that exact same street.
Ah, so the fixed cost of sending the truck to that street is now divided by 6 packages instead of just 1.
Exactly.
So the cost to deliver each individual item just plummets.
Yep.
And then you add in the slow shipping network filling the empty truck space we talked about, and the unit economics actually improve at scale.
It really is operational magic.
It is. What about the fintech side in Q1? Did the bank hold up?
Very much so. They issued 2.7 million new credit cards in just 3 months.
Wow.
Mercado Pago's total assets under management grew by 77%.
Jeez.
And they announced a fascinating tech integration. They actually deployed large language models, LLMs, directly into the marketplace search bar.
Wait, like a generative AI chatbot in the search bar?
Yeah, they got
How does that change the shopping experience?
Well, traditional search bars rely on keyword matching, right? If you type blue dress, it just looks for listings with those 2 words.
Sure.
But an LLM understands intent and context. So if a user types, I need an outfit for a summer wedding in the mountains.
Oh, I see.
Right. The AI understands that summer implies breathable fabric, wedding implies formal attire, and mountains means the temperature might drop at night, so they might need a shawl.
That's super smart.
Management noted on the call that this semantic understanding measurably boosted conversion rates and ad returns because shoppers found exactly what they actually needed much faster.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But we still have to address the margin sacrifice.
Right.
With the free shipping thresholds and the massive credit provisioning, what did all this growth actually cost them in Q1?
So as expected, operating margins dipped down to 6.9%.
Okay.
But the CFO, Martin de los Santos, addressed this head-on during the call. He made it very clear that this dip wasn't an accident or an operational failure.
Right, it was planned.
Management is actively choosing to set the margin dial at 6.9% to intentionally fund the massive credit card expansion and the aggressive free shipping push.
I mean, they could easily crank that profit margin back up into the double digits tomorrow by simply turning off the free shipping and stopping the credit card issuance.
Easily.
But they know that extracts cash today at the expense of their long-term dominance.
Exactly.
So if you are looking at this company right now, the sheer scale of this growth is intoxicating. But what is the canary in the coal mine? What are the actual metrics we should be watching to see if this grand experiment comes crashing down?
Number 1 on that checklist has to be credit quality.
Okay.
As those millions of new credit cards age into maturity and those extended 8-month personal loans start to come due, you have to closely watch the non-performing loan ratios, the NPLs, and the net charge-offs.
Wait, before we move on, define net charge-offs for me.
Yeah.
Is that essentially just the polite banking term for money we are officially never getting back?
That is a very, very accurate translation, yes.
Okay, good to know.
A charge-off is when the bank finally admits the debt is uncollectible and writes it off as a total loss.
Got it.
If MercadoLibre's AI underwriting models are as revolutionary as they claim, the NPLs and charge-offs will remain stable despite reaching into riskier cohorts.
But if they're wrong.
Right. If the models are flawed, that $14.6 billion credit book rapidly transforms from a massive revenue engine into a massive liability.
Yikes. Okay, what else needs to be on the checklist?
The subsidy wars and macro health.
Okay.
You have to monitor the competitive intensity in core markets like Brazil and Mexico. If a player like Amazon or Shopee decides to wage a price war and throws even more money at shipping subsidies,
Oh, man.
right, MercadoLibre might be forced to lower their margins even further to defend their turf.
Yeah.
And naturally, you must watch the macro environment. Severe currency devaluations or hyperinflation in Latin America can instantly wipe out massive operational gains when translated back onto a balance sheet.
One specific risk really stood out to me in the research, and that is the PIX threat.
Oh, yes, Pix.
For context, PIX is Brazil's instant payment rail created by the central bank, and it essentially made transferring money instantaneous and free for everyone.
Right.
But if the government steps in and provides a free public utility for moving money, doesn't that completely nuke the business model of a private payment processor like Mercado Pago?
It completely obliterates the basic transaction fee model, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, if your only business is charging 2% to move money from point A to point B, Pix makes your business obsolete overnight.
Right.
Which is exactly why MercadoLibre's survival strategy relies on building value-added layers on top of that free Pix infrastructure.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's like the government just built a massive free superhighway.
Yes.
And MercadoLibre isn't trying to charge a toll for driving on the road. Instead, they are building the indispensable service stations, the drive thrusts, and the mechanic shops all along the side of it.
That is a perfect analogy. They offer inventory software for the merchants, loyalty rewards programs for the buyers, and instant credit facilities right at checkout.
Oh, okay.
All of these services sit on top of the Pix rail. They are accepting that the pure transfer of money has been commoditized down to zero.
Right.
So they have to prove that Mercado Pago offers software and credit value far beyond just moving the digital cash.
Okay, let's take a breath and zoom all the way out.
Okay.
We started by talking about how MercadoLibre basically threw out the orderly sequential construction manual. They are simultaneously building the roads, constructing the retail infrastructure, and operating the digital bank.
All at once.
Yeah. What we've seen through the Compasscope report and the Q1 earnings is a company successfully managing an almost terrifying level of multinational complexity.
They are. They are leveraging massive logistical scale like that route density magic and entirely proprietary data sets to methodically choke out both global e-commerce rivals and local slow-moving banking incumbents.
Provided, of course, that their AI credit algorithms actually hold up against the volatility of the Latin American economy.
Exactly. It's a high-wire act with billions of dollars on the line.
But so far, they are executing it with incredible calculated precision.
Very true.
And I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over.
Okay.
We've spent this whole time analyzing the physical infrastructure, the shipping thresholds, and the digital banks they are building. But think about this. What if the ultimate long-term value of MercadoLibre isn't actually in the billions of physical boxes they ship?
That's an interesting question.
Right. What if the real value lies in the unprecedented granular financial data they are gathering on hundreds of millions of consumers across a continent that traditional banks have historically ignored?
Oh, well.
At a certain point, you have to ask yourself, is MercadoLibre an e-commerce company? Or are they an AI-driven data broker cleverly disguised as a marketplace?
I mean, if the data becomes more valuable than the commerce, that fundamentally changes how you value the entire empire.
Something to think about. Until next time.
This content is produced by Compasscope.com. For more than 1,100 public-listed companies, find detailed company research reports, visual mind maps, earnings call analysis, and audio discussions on Compasscope.com.